Reality TV isn't real. I'll never forget calling you like, are we gonna be okay? We're queer people. You're like, yeah, it'll be fine.
Oh my God, this poor woman has this like very gay husband.
Should I tell her husband's gay? I'm like,
Yeah.
so that's Patrick.
Yeah, and it was you.
The ice is already broken.
Right, we're like swimming in the Arctic.
We're
already.
swimming in the Arctic.
They had to leave or we had to leave.
Yeah. What? 1 is good, 7's better.
Right.
But that's how it is with everything in my life.
Yes.
That's why we're in recovery. It's not just, oh, I drank too much. No, I did everything too much. It wasn't real, and it's not who I am. I was looking for something to fill that void. That void, that hole,
Right.
is filled now with things that are real.
Yeah. Welcome to this episode of Rooted Recovery Stories. I'm Patrick Custer, your host, and so glad that you all are here joining with us. We've got 3-time Rooted Recovery Stories show alum, Bronwyn Wyndham Burke.
Hello there.
Welcome.
We're just going by Bronwyn Wyndham now.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear the update.
Yeah, we dropped the Burke. We are Bronwyn Wyndham.
Good for you. Less of a mouthful, still a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Yes. And your lovely partner, Jen.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being
Gin
here.
spinner. You put
Gin
us together.
spinner.
It's a win spin.
I love that.
Genuine.
Gin win spin.
Yeah.
I'm so glad y'all are both here today. And I'm really excited to talk about what is new, what's transpired, what's going on in your lives. You live here now in Nashville. Well,
We
near
did
Nashville.
in Franklin. We followed you out here. I'll never forget calling you like, are we going to be okay? We're queer people. You're like, yeah, it'll be fine. And then all this stuff started to happen. You're like, I'm so sorry. But no, we love it.
Yeah.
We have really just found our home here. I love it, especially right now. The leaves are changing. The kids have friends in school. I mean, it's a good place to be. It's simple and easy.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, there's things just like everywhere, right? Like, and it all hinges on perspective. And I think I'm excited. And you and I have had a lot of conversations about like
We met online at a dog kennel, and now we're
Yeah.
like great friends, and you know everything. So it's like this is going to be the hard part because no one knows. Like we talk all the time.
I know,
So.
and we have so many. We have so many inside stories, and one of them we're about to let you in on right now. So when you didn't know where you were going to move, but you were like, "Oh, well, come check things out." You all came down and did a little look-see for
Yeah.
at the
Wild Horse
houses. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, and so
yeah.
so we met up at the Wild Horse when you came down, and I think there's a hilarious story there that Jen. I don't know that anybody could tell it better.
Well, yeah. So Bronwyn and I, we were at the Wild Horse, and I think we were waiting for you, but I had never seen you. I hadn't seen pictures of you. I just had heard of you
No,
from
I
Bronwyn.
think you were Instagram friends, but I don't think
No,
you like,
we weren't. Not yet.
Oh, my bad.
I remember because I didn't know what you looked like, or this wouldn't have happened. So while we were waiting, a really sweet woman came up to Bronwyn. She had seen the show. Her young daughter, like 15, had also seen the show. They were fans. She was telling Bronwyn basically this like really heart-tearing story about the challenges that her daughter was going through at school. Bronwyn ended up like sitting at the table with them, and people were crying. So I used that as an opportunity to not be a part of that conversation. I went to the bathroom, and when I came back, all I saw was this woman, her daughter, Bronwyn, and a man. And she had mentioned her husband multiple times. And so I started talking to this man, who was you, and I immediately got this ping of guilt, just thinking, oh my gosh, like this poor woman, her daughter's going through social pariah stuff at school, and her husband is gay. And like, what is that going to be like when he comes out? And so I forgot how it happened, but I think I said to Bronwyn, oh my God, this poor woman has this like very gay husband.
Like, should I tell her husband's gay? I'm like,
Yeah.
so that's Patrick.
Yeah, and it was you, which thank God for this woman, because that would have just probably been a little too much for them to handle. But yeah.
So now we always joke about how my wife
How's
is
your
doing.
wife's doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your
Yeah.
wife?
I mean,
haven't
you guys,
talked-
it was a cute family.
You have a very nice daughter and wife. Yeah.
Thank you. I wonder how they're doing.
Sorry for what she's going through.
Yeah. You're out there. Hello.
I wonder how they're doing. It would be funny if they saw this and realized.
And reach out. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I guess in Texas, like that's what happens. You become, you get married, then you're gay, then you stay married. Like it didn't.
That happened in California to me too, by the way.
Yeah,
That's like my
well.
story, but yeah.
Well, I don't think this poor woman doesn't want that many similarities.
Oh my gosh. What a great story. So yeah, we find a lot of fun in that. Speaking of finding a lot of fun, I want to start off with they don't know this. Those of you who are returning viewers, listeners, we're jumping right in with our rapid fire questions. I didn't share any of these at the beginning, so let's break the ice. Even though the ice is already broken,
Right. We're like swimming in the Arctic.
we're
already.
swimming in the Arctic. But let's just dive deeper. So here we go. You ready, Jen? What 3 words would you use to describe Bronwyn on The Real Housewives of the OC?
Ooh, horrible. No, like really?
Yes, really.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So no, this is like relationship limiting. Okay, just based on the show before
what
I
you
knew
would
her.
before you knew
Before I
her, yes.
Annoying, dramatic, obnoxious.
Oh.
Lovely. Bronwyn, who is the messiest person in the Housewives franchise, in your opinion?
Oh my, that's like a.
Like messy physically or messy?
No,
like,
he means
as
like
people?
messy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, they're just a mess. Oh, God, I honestly haven't watched it in so long. I don't even know who's on them anymore. I am.
Kelly, probably.
She's not on it anymore.
Oh.
I honestly have not watched it in such a long time. I can't.
That's a fair
I can't-
answer.
I'm so sorry.
I don't actually know her, and I'm sure she's very nice. I'm just going by political, like.
Well, I've heard that
Views.
actually. Yeah, I don't. I've
Or
heard.
did you? Was that?
No, that was
your-
all real. That's
No, but was that your season? Was she?
Yeah.
on? Okay,
That's
so
why we don't.
maybe
Yeah,
she's horrible.
no, she is, but she's not on.
I don't want her
anymore.
to come after me.
Oh, she will.
Great.
Okay, well, Kelly, we wish you the best.
We have
I'm
really.
sure you're
we watch a
nice.
lot of 90 Day Fiance.
Nice.
We don't watch Housewives. We're going to watch this season of Beverly Hills because we're really
No,
invested.
I watch Beverly Hills.
Okay, I'm really invested in the Morgan Wade storyline.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. So I'm going to watch this season of Beverly Hills, but I haven't watched it in a really long time. It's just not fun for me anymore. I don't enjoy it.
I really like
But
Beverly Hills.
90 Day Fiance is my jam right now.
Nice.
And I can answer that. That's Jasmine. I love her.
But she's your favorite one.
Oh my God, I love Messy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a messy answer for you right
Yeah,
there. All right.
there.
Okay. All right. This is for both of you. You can answer however you want. What's the weirdest fan interaction that has happened, both either before you got together or at any given point? I mean, I feel like you have a story.
No, the weirdest one was on the phone with you and someone came up to you and they're like,
Oh,
that was like
so weird.
They're like, Jen, hey, your problem
we had only been dating 2 months.
Yeah, it was really early. The one in Portugal wasn't weird. It was because the show was in England, so that wasn't.
No, they're from Dallas.
Oh,
Wait, what?
I get them at random times. The best ones, and this is true. The best ones are the recovery ones. People that have gotten sober, have someone in their family that is, and they say thank you. Those are the best ones, and those are the ones I really take the time with.
Of
But,
course. Yeah.
It's so weird. The weird with that guy on the cruise. Because he was so not what you would expect to be a housewife fan. Remember on the Disney cruise?
Oh yeah, no, but he was like a single dad. I think he watched it for his daughter, and that was actually really cute.
You guys aren't giving me any tea right now.
I'm so,
I thought the one in Portugal was the most random.
okay.
Well, so what happened in Portugal?
No,
It was just these like very intoxicated, very sweet.
But we were in a tiny little town at a
flight
castle.
attendant, and
Literally in the middle of nowhere.
we were in Lisbon, honey.
No, we were. We were at the castle.
Babe, so we were in Lisbon at a drag show.
Oh, we're having different memory.
I don't know who you're talking
Oh,
about.
I was talking about the one at the castle in that little town.
Who knew you at the castle?
The ladies from England. The flight attendants.
So they were from
Yeah.
Australia,
Oh.
and they didn't know you.
Now I. What? No.
Okay, so let's go with the flight attendant.
Okay,
'cause
the
it sounds
drag
like it's
show.
more.
The drag show one was weird. How did they know us again? We had friends in
Oh my
common.
God, I can't. So They're fans of Housewives.
But they knew someone that
And I'm
knew.
not the sober one. They were fans of Housewives, and they.
Alicia and Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all coming back to me. Sorry.
Anyway,
Yeah.
not the Australians who had no idea who you were.
The ones in the castle
Yeah,
town.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Their friend was from Arizona. She knew who you were.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so and the story goes.
Oh, no, they were just
Now
like.
that we've sorted
Welcome
that
to
out,
like inside of our brain. This is
No,
how our
I
entire
know.
day is. This is how we sit at the kitchen table. I can't imagine like poor Sean who has to be around us because we don't make any sense.
Well, I think that one of us does. It just
You're
takes
right.
some
I do
effort
make a lot of
to
sense.
get you.
You're right.
No, there was like a couple from Dallas.
So the flight attendants from Dallas at the drag show that were
with
so
the very
drunk.
small manager of the club who was like freaking out the whole time.
Yes, that one.
and
Okay, so the story is that Bronwyn was on like a jet lag, like
We flew coach.
we flew coach, but
So there was no sleeping.
Right.
I lived in Europe and was going back and forth between the U.S. So I think that my body is just adjusted to like, I was always jet lagged for so long that I just don't. I can go to sleep at like a normal time.
Yeah.
So in real
Bronwyn
life,
could
I want to
not.
be in bed by 9.
But in Lisbon, she
We
was
could stay
like,
up to like 2 because the time changed the
she
first
was-
night.
You were ready to go to like 4.
I was.
So we go to a bar. I was really, really tired. And she was like, well, don't you want a drink or something to wake up? Like, she's like, I'm going to have water, but like, you should like drink to wake up. And I was like, I can't. Like, I don't want to. And I'm like tired. I want to go to bed. It's midnight. So Bronwyn is sitting, we're sitting at the bar. Bronwyn's drinking Diet Coke. I was just had a cup of ice at that point. And we're not making friends with anyone. The bartenders were like very annoyed that we were there. So then we decide that we're going to a drag show. We convince the manager to let us, it was like reservation only. He gives us a seat. The show starts. He moves us to the front. And all of a sudden, these very drunk, like United, they worked for
Yeah.
United, employees came up to Bronwyn freaking out that she was there. I think one of them spilled a drink on you,
little
and they were
bit,
like,
yeah.
"Oh no, I'm so sorry." Like, and we're like, "She
I love
didn't
when people say
relapse
they're a huge
because
fan
you
of the shows and they offer to buy me a drink. And I'm
Yeah.
like, but you obviously were paying attention to like the storylines.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they were just so excited that we were there, but they kept interrupting the drag show to try and talk to Bronwyn. So the manager got to the point where I think
You just have to like kick them
it
out.
was
He
like they
getting
had to leave
pissed.
or we had to leave.
Yeah.
So we left.
oh my gosh.
But it was just it was like awkward, and I think it was just geographically we were not expecting any like that to
Yeah.
happen, and the fact that there were even other Americans at the drag show was
It was,
weird.
yeah.
Wow. That is
Yeah.
weird.
It took us a long time to get there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Then we got there and it
That's-
actually wasn't that great of a story.
They
But
did a good job of taking that from a rapid fire to a slow burn, but that's all right. We're going to go to number 4.
Okay.
Bronwyn. What do people regularly get wrong about you?
That I'm stupid. That I'm vapid. And that I'm a bad mom.
That's a lot of crap to get wrong. It's horrible. I hate to hear that.
Yeah.
Jen, what is your favorite thing about Bronwyn?
her heart.
What's your favorite thing about Jen?
If you give the same answer, it negates it.
My favorite thing about Jen is how much she loves me for me. It's very rare that you find someone that just accepts you for who you are. I mean, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, up, down. She just hugs me and holds me.
I see that from the outside too. And
Yeah, she's my
think
person.
It's real. It's beautiful. Okay, so I want to circle back a little bit to talking about when you moved here, because I know around that time I didn't know what was going on, but you had a period where there was a struggle happening in regard to your sobriety, right?
I mean, there's always some sort of struggle going on, I would
Okay.
say. Most of the time, and the longer I'm sober, the higher the percentage. 98% of the time, it's great, and I don't struggle. but then there are really bad lows. You know, I'm seeing someone about this, but I've started to realize that I don't always have the ability to regulate my emotions. I have trauma triggers, deep-rooted ones that are a lot of the reasons why I used to drink. And I think as you are sober longer, you start to realize this is it. What sort of steps do I need to take? For me, you know, going to 12-step meetings wasn't enough. I needed a psychiatrist. I needed, you know, what is it called again?
EMDR.
Therapy. I needed more.
Yeah.
And that took me a little while to get to. So I do have really low moments. She's seen them, you know, where I'm like, I'm going to drink. I give up. I'm going to drink. Now, I know if I drink again, I will die. And that's sort of what I'm saying. I'm giving up. Like, I have had those depressive lows where I don't want to exist anymore. Not so much that I want to kill myself, but I don't want to live anymore. Like, I'm done. I just want to not exist. And so I think I've said that to you, 2 or 3 times?
I think more than that.
Where I'm like, okay, so I'm going to drink. And she's like, when? Today? No, not today. But, you know, I'm going to.
Well, I always ask if there's a plan. I mean, not
That's
like
what I was going to say, because this
not like
particular time, I think, because this was like, I mean, like, people caught it. You did a story.
Well, yeah,
some
I mean,
people
this
interviewed
also
about
happened
it,
like
right?
2 weeks ago. I mean, it's during like, and I think it's important to be vocal about it.
Yeah.
I mean, Bronwyn is vocal about it. So it's not like I wouldn't share that if she wasn't.
Yeah.
But we were on a plane. We were coming back from a vacation, not really a vacation, but we were coming back from a wedding and travel. And there was just an intense situation that happened for her. And when we were sitting on the plane, she was like, I just want you to know that I'm going to drink. And if we have to go back to the house tonight, it won't be tonight. If we don't, it will be tonight. And I always ask her like what her plan is. And I think that comes from working like a harm reduction hotline in college. But, you know, and she does often have a plan. Like, you know, this is what I'm going to do. This is when I'm going to do it. And I just stay clear on the fact that, you know, she always will say when she's in these moments, well, you're going to drink with me. It'll be like, finally, we're going to, you know, have fun together. And we have a ton of fun together with her being sober. So it's not, but I always just make it clear there's never going to be a moment that we drink together, ever. And also that I will stand by her if she relapses, as long as there is a plan to get sober again. And whether that's 2 days or 5 days or whatever that is, like I'm not going to enable ever. Right. So,
and I will say that when this happens, I do have people I call. Like, I don't just sit there, whatever. Like, I do have that toolbox. So there's one person in particular that just is always my first go-to phone call. And, you know, he can usually get me to the other side of it. So when I'm sitting in that moment, I truly do mean it. But then I'm like, okay, but I'm going to call this person first and this person second. And normally by the third phone call, I'm feeling better, but it's almost like I have to say it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm going to do it, you know? And I don't know why. I think that's the self-sabotaging part of me. I want to challenge
that thought right there, because and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this up is because there are so many of us that suffer in silence in the rooms of 12-step. And I think that there's so much power in what you're talking about, because when it rises up for you, you're like, FYI, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to stop me, and I'll let you know when I'm, you know, whatever. But how often do we hear that people actually get vocal? I don't. The people I know are like, yeah, I let this simmer in my head for a very long time until, you know, and usually I hear about somebody's relapsed and overdosed, or somebody's relapsed, like it went too far, didn't tell a damn soul, you know?
I think that's why I'm always been so, at least I try to on social media, that it's hard. If I'm making it look easy, I apologize, because it's hard, because I don't want anyone to think that sobriety is easy. Yeah, there's great days, there's bad days, but it's hard not drinking when you're an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It's every day. And there are really low moments. I'm not superhuman. What I can do is have a partner I can be honest with, but I mean it when I say it, you know? And if you have those feelings too, you're not alone and you're not failing.
That's right.
You know, have I had a drink? And it's been about 3.5 years, knock on wood. No, but there are days where I'm like, this is going to be the day, because I'm done. Like, I can't, I cannot do this anymore. It's too hard. Like, I give up. And that's, I think, what it is for me. When I say that's, I give up. I'm giving up.
And another theme goes for me, I just hear go off in my head of like this resounding theme of surrender that you're like almost being forced to practice. Like it pulls you to your knees. And
It does. And that's when, I mean, I say this to her a lot because she likes to control things, whatever. I'm like, just, if we don't know what to do, don't do anything. Just sit with it and the answer will come. And I think that for me has been very important to realize that you don't always have to have the answers right now to everything. You just sit with it and you sit in the uncomfortable. And sometimes just existing is enough. You know, like I'm not going to thrive today. I'm going to exist today.
Bronwyn, that's such good advice, regardless of if you are recovering from life, recovering from substance, recovering from mental health, whatever, because we all experience emotional dysregulation.
Yeah.
And that's like some really good advice to live by.
I'm realizing that I have, you know, these intense moods that I didn't have the ability to handle, and I still don't. So that's what I'm working on now. These mood instabilities that I'm working on. So that's next. And that's the thing with sobriety. It's not, oh, I'm done drinking now. Okay. It's now I have to do the work. And right when you think like, oh, I'm going to fix this, like, well, it's like whack-a-mole with all this.
Absolutely.
Like, and all the different issues. Okay. I mean, I don't think it will ever be done.
No.
Yeah.
We're constantly figuring out how to be, and this is something I wanted to get to, but it's coming up now, is the desire to like getting to a place where, is it happiness or is it peace?
For me, peace.
And for how long did we think it was happiness? And is it even possible that you can be all of one or all of both? Like,
for me, after so many years of high highs and low lows, stability is great. I have that with her and I love it. You know, stability is it. We have moments of happiness, we have moments of sadness, but peace. And, you know, I really will say moving to Nashville has made that a lot easier. It lends itself to peace here. So the world around us is swirling right now. We're in the midst of chaos and things are very hard on us. But as long as we have each other and we have ourselves and we have that foundation, I think you just hold on tight.
Absolutely. Jen, I want to ask you, and I know that we've talked about this before, but I'd love for you to share your history with an exposure with addiction and those struggling prior to meeting Bronwyn.
Yeah. So I have I have three sisters that have been in recovery for different things. Two of them substance related. And so it's, you know, for the past, I don't know at this point, probably 10 to 12 years, it's definitely been a topic in my house. I've learned a lot from the three of them about like 12-step programs and sort of the work that goes into, you know, I always thought, okay, people just go to AA or NA or OA. And like, they've really taught me about the intentionality and the work that you have to do in order to deal with all of the other things that surrounded the addiction. But my family, I mean, they're very open about it. When I go home, if someone's struggling, like there's a lot of openness and no judgment about conversations about that. And then also my best friend is an addict who I've known during times of sobriety and relapse. And
you went to that meeting with her.
Oh gosh, that was like a horror. Yeah, she loves to tell that story. Right. But there was one, I was very young. I lived in West Hollywood. She was with me. She was sober. She was with me at an event that I was at for work. And I used to drink sugar-free Red Bull with vodka, and she drank sugar-free Red Bull. So I ordered a sugar-free Red Bull and vodka and a sugar-free Red Bull. Of course, they switched the drinks, and she just took a huge sip of mine without thinking about it.
No.
and immediately was, first comment was, I need to go to a meeting. I thought we were going to the Abbey, which is like a club. And we walk into this AA meeting and I was like...
And you're hammered.
It was not great. That's one of her favorite stories.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was not ideal. I was like...
Did you sit through the whole meeting intoxicated?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was like, Joss, I don't think this is the Abbey. She was like, no, we're not at the Abbey, bitch. Like, we're at AA. And yeah, she made sure that it wasn't a closed meeting, thank God. But someone did comment, someone smells a little bit like vodka and it's very triggering. And I'm like,
looking at the floor.
Just pretend that it's not you.
It is nice though, having someone that's so familiar with it. And like her sister, when I go there, we went to celebrate her birthday at her NA meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is just, for me, it's so nice. We're
going to be there again this year.
Yeah. There's no stigma around it. It's like, oh, you're in recovery.
Yeah.
Cool.
My family is very much
They don't drink at holidays. Like
we never have though.
It's
I
so
grew
nice.
up with drinking.
Your mom's boyfriend is in recovery.
Yeah.
We bond over that. Like there's so much openness around it. And I love that. In my family, we don't talk about it very often.
Really?
My family's too open though about everything.
I love that. My aunt is in recovery, and when she got sober, she went to Betty Ford, and we never spoke about it. All the alcohol was removed from our house, and no one ever talked about it again. And that's what I grew up with as alcoholism. I
think that's very reflective of.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Even now,
America.
if I bring it up to my grandma, it's like, shh, that's not nice. Don't talk about it. We're very mentality of don't talk about things that aren't pleasant. Your family's like, what? I can't do the accent. I don't want to butcher it, but like,
just don't.
What? Yeah. I mean, okay.
I mean, the thing is, my parents.
Where's your family from?
So I'm from
Long
New York,
Island.
and my dad
right.
is
Okay.
like born
So they
and
all
bred.
talk like this.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like
Tony Soprano.
I love it. They yell, they scream, they're open. Like,
no,
I
but
love it.
my dad is so proud of the fact. I mean, he's not proud of the fact that he's very, he feels horrible that my sisters had to go through having a substance abuse problem. But he is so proud of the fact that they're in recovery, and there's no shame. It's only pride in the fact that they are where they are right now. And I think that that's one thing that I will say about my parents is that they've instilled like a sense of owning your trauma and owning whatever you have going on and being proud of the obstacles that they've created, not ashamed of it. So I really love that aspect. And I think that because they raised me that way, it has shaped the way that I interact with addiction and also with how I interact with Bronwyn around just, I had a conversation with her older daughter, with her 8-year-old yesterday. We were at the library and there was a book made for kids about addiction, about alcoholism, about having like an alcoholic parent.
Yeah.
And so Koa looked at me and said, what is this book about? Because alcoholism is a very long word.
Right.
So I said, oh, that's about someone that has a drinking problem, like your mom has. And she was like, we just had a whole conversation about it in the middle of the library. Like there was no shame or discomfort or her feeling weird that someone else would hear. And I love that that her kids are growing up in a similar way that I did, but in a different way around it than she's experienced.
That's beautiful.
I didn't even tell you that story. Yeah. It was great
sweet.
that they had that book.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That is really beautiful. So, Jen, you're a normie.
Right.
As we like to refer to.
Yes.
And what was it like? Was Bronwyn the first person you've dated that has been in recovery?
From alcohol, yes.
Okay.
I've been with other people that were in recovery for like other substances, but she's the first person I've been with that is sober and that is in recovery from alcohol.
Okay. And so, gosh, you found each other and clicked pretty quick, if I remember correctly, which was awesome. I love it. I mean, and it's just
like really quick.
Yeah. When do you think you knew? Because I feel like you both know now, like you're each other's one. I've heard you say
I thought you meant that I wasn't sober.
No.
I'm like, I think I knew right away. I think it was not a long discovery process.
No.
Puerto Rico.
That's not.
No,
when
for
you
me,
knew.
No, when I knew that I was like falling in love with you was on the rooftop of the Hyde.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was like much later.
No. I mean, I told you I loved you probably a little bit later, but that's that dinner after whatever we were doing at the rooftop of the Hyde.
Aw.
So how far in was that?
It was our
2
third
days.
date.
Stop.
And then for you, it was
Marmalade.
So
Yeah.
a little bit later, which our third date was 10 days long.
Well, we were watching this documentary called like The Longest Third Date Ever about a couple that was trapped for 2.5 months, like during COVID.
Oh.
And she and I were both laughing and we're like, well, they're clearly not lesbians because that's like
We would've
totally
thrived.
normal. That's not like a COVID thing.
Right. Right.
That's reality. Yeah, I think I knew like within 3 weeks of us really hanging out.
Yeah.
That.
I knew, like, our second date, we got really lost on a hike. God, even our first date when you were talking, I don't know. She's just...
Mean?
No. When I would talk to you on the phone, her Instagram profile, she always looks like she's in a bad mood. So I thought she was going to be mean. And then I listened to her voice. We started talking, and it was so soft, and she's so sweet. And not at all what I was expecting. Because the outer Jen that everyone meets is this very sarcastic, I don't like people, like I'm always in a
Well,
bad
that's
mood.
not an act. I genuinely don't really like people.
But the you that I know is so sweet and caring. I mean, you are both. Like most people annoy you, and I now do.
But I am compassionate to them.
But when we first met, I didn't annoy you yet.
This podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you or a loved one are struggling with trauma, addiction, or mental health, we are ready to answer your questions and help you take that next step. Call our admission center at 888-648-4098 or visit us online at www.promises.com. Our team is ready and waiting to answer the call for help.
No. Yeah, I think that we have actually talked about this a lot. I think that people have perceptions of me like at work or in my personal life. And then when they get to know me, I'm a completely different person. And I think that it can create like a false intimacy because it's this assumption like, oh, she's only being this way with me. And what I love about Bronwyn is that she is one of the only people I've ever met that just understood almost immediately that it wasn't like, oh, she's just being this way with me, but her true nature is XYZ. Like, she just got me from the beginning. And I really, like, I haven't really met anyone that, besides Jocelyn, who I'm not in a romantic relationship with, who really just, like, you know, understood things about me right away. And you did.
That's beautiful. Well, besides getting each other, we were talking about this before the show, and like, in true, I'm going to get backlash for saying this, but in true alcoholic fashion, right? Like, if one's good, seven's great.
Right.
7 kids.
Right. Everyone's like, oh my God, that's a lot. That's why I'm in recovery.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's made some choices.
I mean, right. You know, if one is good, 7's better.
Right.
But that's how it is with everything in my life.
Yes.
That's why we're in recovery. It's not just, oh, I drank too much. No, I did everything too much. You know, moderation is not my thing. I'm learning for it to be now. I mean, not with candies. I know that's what you're thinking. Not.
No, I was laughing at, I'm remembering that someone DM'd me right when we first met and was like, you're dating a child hoarder. And
We
I
know-
immediately,
I call
I have
it
never heard that.
baby hoarding.
I went to, you know, say
my friend
something
Kate
back to
Casey,
them.
she has a podcast. She does a lot of
Yeah.
stuff.
They were right.
We call it baby hoarding. She has 5 kids. We call ourselves baby hoarders. I think it's funny. Other people didn't, but no, I
No,
definitely.
you're definitely a child hoarder.
Yeah.
I think I might change your like professional description in my phone
To
book
child hoarder?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I wanted to fight with them, and then I was like, no, you know what? They're actually right.
Yeah.
Like if you had 7 dogs, I would be like, something is
too
probably
many.
going on with their mental health.
That's right.
You have a beautiful family, and I think that from what I've seen, it's inspiring. I love watching how much you share with your followers, how being a mother is for you now, how it's been making choices as a sober mom, figuring out your sexuality, all of those things have been such a journey for you, and you brought people along with you through that. And not only that, but I think, Jen, it's been really cool to see what you all have chosen to share publicly, you with the kids, and just being, because you didn't just get a lovely partner, you got a whole family, like a big family. And
yeah, and it's hard sometimes, but like, it's like yesterday I took the girls to get their first library card, which I have in my wallet, and there are so many of these moments that I get to have with them that make all of the challenges that every parent would understand, like what the hard thing about having 4 young kids at home are, and now like the older kids as well. But it really is offset by the things that I get to experience through their eyes that I would just never have that connection with another person if it wasn't for them. And
we had to really balance that. I remember that hike we were on, you're like, I feel like I just joined your life.
Yeah.
And that was something we had to work on for a little bit, because I had a moment of, you're right. I have sort of treated it like, this is my life and you're going to be a part of it. And she's like, I need it to be our life. And so that's a constant.
With the kids.
No, with the kids, but like not, I'm joining this life that you and Sean had, as an add-on. I want to create a life with you. And that is a constant, conversation we're always having. How to make more space? How do you want to parent? Because I parented one way for so long, and now it's letting her have space to do it her way. Which I'm going to say 100% of the time she nails it. I'm like, you are doing a better job than I did, because I've kind of got stuck in my ways. She comes in and says, this is where we need help. And at first I was like, no. I'm like, okay, yeah. She's like, allow me in. And that's been really nice to watch her sort of step into that role as a parent.
Yeah, and it's, she asked, Bronwyn and I were talking the other day, because Sean is seeing someone, and the kids love her. They love her. And it was immediate, like that they loved her. And so Bronwyn said, obviously there's always that tension when you're a parent and then your ex gets a new partner and like figuring that out. But she was asking, as like a step parent, are you insecure or jealous that, they're going to really love this woman? And my view on it is, if they can have 4 adults in their life that love them, I know that my relationship with them is never going anywhere, whether we're together or not. I'm going to have a relationship with them. And I think that her asking me that question was the first time that I really did some introspection about the fact, how secure I actually am in my relationship with them. And I hope that they love this woman, and that she can give them things that I can't.
Yeah.
And that we can sort of all complement each other's weaknesses with things that we bring to the table. But I think when her asking me that question was the first time that I really thought about, no, I'm not. If it was a friend, when my friends get new friends, I go through this weird jealous period where I hate their new friend. Every single time my friend will come to me.
Do that.
Yeah. They'll be like, oh, this is my new friend. They're amazing. I love them. And I will automatically hate them
for no reason.
Usually years. It takes me a long time.
Jen.
And then I finally will warm up and say, oh yeah, this is a great person, usually when they're not friends anymore. But with the kids, it was the first time.
Okay, so what's your toxic trait? No, just kidding.
That. But yeah, I don't have that with the kids. And it was it's bizarre to me that that's the relationship there's no jealousy. I just want them to have as much happiness in their life as they can.
That's beautiful. I think very selfless, I think.
But yeah, horrible friend. So don't be friends with me.
I don't know about that, but that's pretty funny. I can find some humor in it. Well, talking about our horrible moments and being toxic, I want to jump back to, let's talk about the Real Housewives for a second, because it wouldn't be an interview with y'all without talking about, without fleshing some questions out of Real Housewives. So, I have a lot of people on here that have a platform, and a lot of times I have people that I don't know, and lots of people that are friends with me ask me afterwards, how was so-and-so? What are they really like when the camera turns off, whatever. And at this point, everybody knows that you and I have a relationship, a friendship, and you've been on here a few times, and so I've had so many questions, like, what is Bronwyn really like? Because so many people love to. Well, I think the media conditioned people to have this specific perception of you. Based on what happened in...
Well, it's not just the media. When you're a character on one of these shows, you are portrayed a certain way. And you have no control over that. You just sort of have to let it go. And you just have to believe that, it's 2 weeks and people move on. But you're created into something. So, when I was on the show, I was either drunk or getting sober and detoxing. But you only saw a really small part of it. They very rarely showed me with my kids. So then it's like, oh, you're never with your kids. Or... I remember one funny scene where you see my nanny putting the kids to bed, and people are like, "How? You don't even put your own kids to bed?" In my head, I'm like, "You do realize there's 12 people in my home. Like, if there's if they're filming this, my kids are 2 hours from bed. Like,
yeah,
reality TV isn't real, and a lot of people forget that sometimes. They think that they know you. She couldn't stand me as a character on the show. I mean, couldn't stand me, and in real life, I'm nothing like that. I think."
No, I'm just kidding.
I think that if anyone's like, what's she like? I'm exactly like this. I'm a little frenetic. I'm all over the place. I have a big mouth. I say everything.
I think the biggest difference is that you're not so like you don't actually care about money or handbags or any of this stuff. Like, you really you're not chill. You're the opposite of chill, but you're very laid. Like, you don't care about keeping up appearances, and you don't care how much someone else has or doesn't have.
Yeah.
At all.
Like jewelry, handbags, shoes.
At all.
None of that has ever. And even when I was on the show, I never cared about that stuff.
You let Hazel wear like a diamond tiara. Like, you don't care about that stuff at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I am at heart, a beach girl that loves to wear flip flops. One of the things I love about living in Tennessee is I don't have to get dressed if I don't want to.
Yeah.
I got dressed because we're going to dinner after this, but I love the way I look without makeup on. I love the way I look without hair extensions.
I love the way you look without hair extensions too.
So that's the real me.
I love your new hair.
I love talking to women. I love getting to know people. I love having real conversations. I don't like fighting with women.
Right.
I really don't.
Well, and so, my answer to that too was, whether it be correct or not, has been, the public was watching, like you said, snapshots of what was going on, but you were either drunk, detoxing, whatever, right? And you were in the middle of, like, you weren't living out like what you are now, like a life of, like, you are much more stable now, like recovery-wise, than you were then.
For me, The Housewives came at a time of change. I had my last baby. I hadn't drank in 7 years. I started drinking again. I was coming to terms with my sexuality, and I was looking for something when I got the phone call, have you heard about the show? In retrospect, it was probably the worst time for me to go on a television show, but I really thought it would be fun. I didn't understand the backlash of social media. I didn't know it existed. So I just thought, I'll hang out. I thought it was real. I thought they followed your real life. I didn't realize that they created scenes and gave you, a script, a call sheet the week before. I didn't know it was fake. So, there was times where, like, Tamara would be yelling at me. The cameras would go down. She'd be like, "Are you okay, honey?" I didn't realize that you were playing a character based on yourself. Else I would have done it different. I was just being myself, for better or worse, just like I do in real life. That isn't how you're a good housewife. I'm not a good housewife. I wasn't a good housewife, but I'm a great Bronwyn.
You are a great Bronwyn. Yeah.
I will say, though, I think, and not to whatever, Bethany Frankel is sort of spearheading this thing, this reality reckoning, for lack of a better word. And I think a lot of stories are going to come out, and it's going to really make people rethink how they watch these shows and how they comment on them, because we sign things that we can't really talk about. There are things on that I can't legally talk about. And everyone has that. I think if there is something that happens where people can tell their stories, people will be shocked at some of the stuff that happens. That some of the stuff that happened to me, that I've told you off camera, and it's like, that's insane. I can't believe that. And so I think if this happens, people are going to definitely watch reality TV and feel a little bit like, ooh, maybe this isn't okay.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully it'll change. I mean, like, if reality TV has a future that can be healthier, maybe it'll force it to, I don't know.
We watch it to be healthy.
I don't think reality TV could be healthier because
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, I think that,
I think
like,
we watch
it's
it.
human nature. It's you don't want to see, like she said the other, like I when we first moved here, she was like, oh, I want to pitch a show where these women are like business owners and they help each other and everyone is just, and no one will watch that because you don't want to watch reality TV to see the best in humanity. You want to watch to see the worst so that you feel better about your own decisions. Like, no one's watching reality TV to feel good when they turn the TV off. They're watching it so that they can look at their life and say, wow, at least I'm superior to this one person. So I don't think I think toxicity is so baked into the formula of reality TV that it couldn't be anything other than what it is.
Interesting. I see your point. I also feel like personally, there's parts about it that I like that are like, I mean,
I love reality TV.
You were talking about like the Morgan, there's certain parts of the stories that like, it's like, well, I want to find out. I want to find out what's.
I love reality TV. I am a toxic person. I like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. When I am having a bad day, that is my like, now I'm happy.
But do you want to, like, are you really wanting to see like what you were just talking about?
Is that in seasons, aka prior to Lisa Rinna joining the cast, in seasons where there wasn't a lot of drama, I would find myself thinking, oh, I really hope that they like are better next season. This wasn't, as much fun as it is to watch people with a lot of money like go to yoga and then eat like nothing or like have a smoothie. Like that's awesome, but that just makes me feel bad about my life because I'm like, well, I can't afford smoothies because I have 7 kids. So like there is like a weird desire to see that drama. Otherwise, you're just watching people like drive around Beverly Hills in like nicer cars.
Good point.
Yeah.
Well, in regard to that and the drama, on a more serious note from the heart, there has been some stuff that's gone down. What was it, like a month ago? I don't remember, but in recent time. And I know you publicly commented on it, so this isn't the first time, but I just I feel like I do want to ask you about Shannon. Like, are y'all at all close? Have you talked to her? What's your...
No. No. I did reach out. I sent her a text message. I still have, her number on my phone, but she made an accusation at the reunion that I later found out was untrue. And that sort of put a wedge in us ever being close. It was a pretty bad one. And when I found out from the person that it wasn't true, I was like, wow, I can't believe she did that. But she threw that out there when we were talking about her drinking issues, because this has been an ongoing thing with her.
Right.
I will say that I hope it was a wake-up call. I don't think it was. Shannon is a very good person with a very good heart. That I know. 100%. She loves deeply. She's a good person. She will find her way. I think there's a lot of people that she knows that know a lot of things that are really hoping for the best for her right now.
Yeah. Well, and like the rest of us, I mean, like we had to get where we needed to go before we could accept the reality.
Afterwards, I was like, you can sort of see how people are going based on the choices they make. And I've hit bottom and done nothing about it. I've also, my bottom, when I got sober, a lot of people wouldn't consider it a bottom. Like we all get to that moment when we are ready. I couldn't have gotten there a minute sooner.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really true. Really, really true. Well, speaking about like getting to bottoms and like all of the things about drama and how we change through sobriety and what's gone on with you since the show, we were talking a little bit earlier about how you've changed, what you stand for publicly, what you've been open about. Things, a lot of things in life have changed for you since the show. What your audience and how you interact with them, what was it then and what is it now?
I remember doing a tutorial on how to blow dry my hair. You know what I mean? Like, that's how vapid I was. For me,
I mean, you do blow dry your hair really well.
thank you. But so it was fake. I was fake. I was trying to be a person that I really wasn't. You know, I was keeping up with the Joneses, for lack of a better word. I wanted to be on red carpets. I wanted to be whatever. I wanted to shoot. Like, it wasn't real, and it's not who I am. I was looking for something to fill that void, which a lot of us fill it with alcohol or whatever. But that void,
It's easy
for
to think fame would do that too.
Oh, fame is way more addictive than any substance I've ever done, including that stupid vape. So that for sure, fame is addictive, and you think it's going to fix it. And that's why people keep coming back to these reality shows, even when they're horrible. It's like, I need that next fix. But none of it filled it. And I think when I first was fired, I didn't know what to do or who I was. Like, who is my identity now? I had wrapped all of my all of my me into this. Now who am I? And it took me a long time to figure out that I am an introvert. I like to be in bed and watch TV. My favorite feeling in the world is my legs cuddled up around her in the middle of the night.
Well, you didn't know that yet.
I mean, no, but I'm just like, I love living in a small town outside Nashville.
Yeah.
I love coffee as the sun comes up. I love quiet. I love simple. I love traveling. And I think for me, the biggest difference I've said with traveling is I don't go to be seen. I go to see things. I love the anonymity of living here. I love it. No one watched the show where I live. No one has heard of me outside of being her partner and these kids' moms. And I thought I was going to miss that little taste of fame, and I don't. I did for a long time.
Yeah.
But I don't anymore, because that void, that hole, is filled now with things that are real.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. I think that is something that deep down on the inside, we're all seeking, whether we've been famous before or not. Like, whatever, throw that to the side, you know, on a path to self-discovery, finding our authentic self, getting to recovery, going through the years. Like, ultimately, I think that take the substance away. I just want to learn how to live in my skin and be happy when it's time to be happy, feel the feelings I'm supposed to feel. But like you said, know peace, and know peace regularly as a thing. So within that realm of speaking, what has it been like redefining fun for you?
When I first got sober, I tried to hold on to what fun was. It was going out and partying, whatever. I tried to do it sober, though. And then over time, I realized that I don't want to be at a club. I want to not be at a club. I am already looking forward to going home tonight and watching 90 Day Fiancé. That is fun.
We have to rewatch.
And that messy lady, what's her name?
Oh, she's so good, Jasmine.
Bless
Love
Jasmine's
you.
heart.
She keeps trying to be friends with her, but she's not really interested.
Yeah, she won't let me be friends with her.
Come on, Jasmine.
Call me.
Maybe not after this episode.
No, I love her. But fun for me is so much smaller.
Yeah.
It turns out everything I was doing to have fun, I actually don't enjoy. I don't like shopping. I don't like being around crowds. I love going for hikes with you. I love finding new places. I love traveling. We love to travel. I love road trips. I mean, I love little simple things. I love life in its most basic way.
Yeah.
I love it. I love when my kids get off the school bus and they run and give me a hug. I love tucking them in at night. I don't know. It's just so much smaller. I think in some ways when you get sober, your life gets bigger in a lot of ways because you don't have to manage your drinking.
Right.
But it also gets smaller, and that's okay. I've also learned, I was with another mom, and she was talking about how busy, she's busy. And she's like, aren't you busy? I'm like, no, I chose not to be. I don't want to be busy. I don't want to fill my days up. I want to do nothing. I want to say no. And I do now. I don't want to do that thing. I'm not going to do it. And I don't have guilt. If I cancel plans, she's learned this about me. I don't feel guilty. I don't want to go out tonight.
Well, mainly because I go for her. But usually I don't want to go in the first place either.
I have no guilt living life on anyone else's terms now but my own. And that suits me. You know, like I don't feel guilty anymore.
Yeah. That's that in and of itself, I think, is a journey that so many of us, it takes a while to get there. So any advice on getting to a place where getting to that place of letting go of?
I found that just not checking my emails or answering phone calls really helped.
Well, it must be nice to be able to do that.
Well, she can't because I check them for her and then get very stressed out about all the messages she missed.
No, I found that it's like, you know, there's so many things that society tells us we have to do.
Yeah.
We actually don't have to do any of them. That's it. Excuse me.
Isn't it funny when we think about it? Like, all the rules of society are really just a social construct that people made up. Like, none of it's actually something.
None of it's real. For me, coming out was the first part of that. You know, I'm married, I have 7 kids, I'm doing the white picket fence, I'm at the country club, I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing, I'm miserable. And it's like, I'm done doing everything you guys told me I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I think when you're queer, you're already kind of coming at it from a different perspective of, okay, well, screw that playbook. That's not working for me. So now I'm queer, now I'm traveling. People are like, well, don't you miss your kids? Not really. You know, when I'm with them, I love being with them. When I'm not with them, they're with their dad. He's a great dad. No. And you're going to try to mom shame me, but it's not going to work because I know they're great and I'm great and that's great. So I think when you just stop following the rules that aren't even real, then it's so much easier. It's so much easier.
I can't agree with you more. We're about out of time, and I just want to know what kind of from both of you, but both of your answers would be, because I think that it takes, it's not just like the answer to this solution isn't just what we identify as the recovering people as the need. It's our support system as well. So I'd like to know from each of you, like what do you see as being something that's really important around what is next right now that we can do as a society to address supporting recovery and battling stigma?
I think the first thing we need to do is start dismantling the mommy wine culture. We need to get rid of all the, it's wine o'clock, you whine, so I whine. I think we have to stop thinking that alcohol.
TJ Maxx is going to have to get...
Yeah, Home Goods and TJ Maxx are going to go out of business. But for real, I think we really need to stop saying that it's, being a functional alcoholic is okay. It's not. Yeah. You shouldn't have to have a glass of wine every day. I think we need to become more honest about mental health issues because most of us drink for other reasons. We have co-current disorders that sort of all playing together. Mm-hmm. I have this, if you're bipolar, if you're borderline, stop weaponizing mental health.
Yeah.
For number one, stop weaponizing mental health. Don't glorify the mommy wine culture. And in a queer community, let's sort of find other venues and places that aren't just the gay bars. Yes. How can we kind of come together to find healthy ways to support each other?
Yep. That's good.
On the partner side, I would just say, to really work to withhold judgment. And also, with the stigma piece, I think obviously a lot of that stems from other people judging, if this person is an addict, then I don't want them in my life because these are the, ideas that I have about addicts. But I think that a lot of people with addiction relapse and feel so judged by the people in their lives that they don't talk about it. They don't tell anyone. And so I think that part of being like a supportive partner is just making sure that it's known that you're not going to leave if a relapse happens and that you want to be there in a non-judgmental space to support that person through whatever, their recovery looks like. But yeah, the stigma piece is hard because I think that we're so conditioned, you know, don't do drugs, don't drink, and if you do, something is wrong with you.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that, like that re-education around not viewing addicts in such a negative way probably is going to stem from some of that early education that we get in 4th or 5th grade, where it's like, don't do drugs or you're going to end up like this person. You're
Right.
going to end up homeless.
Yeah.
This is your brain.
They're
This is
everything
your
you
brain on
don't want to
drugs.
be. And
Yeah.
it's, you know, this is this unsuccessful person and that's who you're going to become if you drink or do drugs.
Yes.
And I think we take that with us as adults and look at people with addiction as unsuccessful and they failed in some way.
Right.
And I think that we need to turn that on its head. Some of the strongest people I know are addicts because they had to figure out how to function in a society where you can't sustainably be an addict usually. And so I think a lot of it just comes through reframing for kids and then hopefully for adults. Like, it's not this reality that you need to run away from, or people that have addiction are not failures. And oftentimes they're stronger than people that don't have addiction problems, and they've had to overcome more and find success in spite of challenges that we don't have to deal with.
Yeah.
So.
That's a resounding second and amen to that. That was such a great comprehensive answer, both of them. But thank you both so much for being here today. This was so much fun. I always have a blast with the two of you, and in front of the this is our first time doing it like all together. Like,
That's what I said when you were asking if I come in the studio. Like, we have to put on pants.
Just come on, just do the Zoom, Patrick. Come on,
Why are we wearing pants?
I always wear pants just for the record.
So Bronwyn's like, I'm gonna wear as little as I can on the pants.
I did.
Nailed it.
Well, I have that last of that vacation tan, so I wanted to show it off before winter
I would
comes.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both again. This has been lovely and such a great episode. I appreciate you both so much. And yeah, this is great. Yep. With that, I'm going to close out and remind everyone that it is never too late to start loving yourself, and you're only ever one decision away from a completely different life.
This podcast is brought to you by Promises Behavioral Health. If you or a loved one are struggling with trauma, addiction, or mental health, we are ready to answer your questions and help you take that next step. Call our admission center at 888-648-4098 or visit us online at www.promises.com. Our team is ready and waiting to answer the call for help.